Recorded at 2023's Equip and HNA show in Louisville, Kentucky. Here's your host, TV personality and hardscapes contractor, Matt Blashaw.
Okay, all right, so name, company, where you're from, and your position.
Adam Konen with Konen Landscaping. We're in Dayton, Ohio area. I'm pretty much manager, hiring manager, in the process of taking over.
Nice.
Yes.
You're buying the business.
No, just getting handover from my father.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Family business. How long did your dad start it?
Yes, he started it back in '75.
Awesome.
So quite a while.
So how old are you?
I'm 34.
And how long you been working for him?
Probably since I was 12.
Dude, he made you work for it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome. I think that's really good. So you did you start from, the bottom, work from the top?
Yeah, more or less. I mean, just did what I could to make things work, to get, jobs done. And then now I'm more of like yelling at people and making, sales pitches to people and, things like that at a manager position.
Nice. And so you guys, softscape, hardscape,
You name
maintenance,
it, landscape, we do it.
everything. So you do design, build?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's kind of that's what I do, okay. Exteriors. So we'll talk about kind of the challenges, all right? Because I'm sure there's some challenges that you have, right?
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about industry challenges, all right? We talk about supply chain issues, employees. What have you seen in the industry that's challenging now?
Definitely finding good employees that are willing to show up on time and actually put forth the effort to work hard to get the job done. I mean, nobody really cares anymore these days. I mean, they'll show up, you'll tell them to do something, and then they'll give you a mean look like, you actually want me to do that? So.
And no, you're the 11th guy we've interviewed today. Mm-hmm. 11 of them have said the same thing. And
I'm surprised.
And have you done anything to try to combat that? Is there anything that you've tried to help?
There's things I've thought about, but at the same time, doing these things you gotta really pay attention to how it's gonna offend somebody. And if you say that thing to them, they're either gonna leave and not come back, and which hurts you even more. So you don't want to offend anybody. So you try to do things, in small amounts so it doesn't, offend very many people. But at the same time, I mean, you gotta be a little bit extreme in order to get stuff done so you're not behind on things.
Yeah. You got to be the nice guy when you're a nice guy, but you got to be the
you got to lay down the law.
You got to lay down the law, and that's just how it is across the board. So for me, in my business, I'm exploring employee-owned, right? Because the incentivizing, because the harder they work, better they show up.
Take care of them,
right? And the more they make,
right?
And when I lose, they lose,
right?
As well. So for me, I think that's it's hard because it's hard finding good people that are skilled, that will show up and actually have a good attitude, which is unbelievable. All right, so tell me about your challenges that you've been facing personally, right, with your business.
Trying to think right here. I mean, personally, I guess I would say it's kind of just going back to the help. I mean. I can get stuff done on my own, but at the same time, I can't get the stuff done on my own that I want to get done unless I have the proper help.
Mm-hmm. And do you have masons, and then you have specific kind of trades?
So we have our general landscape crew, and then we have our lawn crew, and then we install irrigation systems, so we have our irrigation crew as well. So you got to make sure you have everybody in the right departments and enough people to fill that position that know what they're doing.
How many people are you managing?
10 to 15.
Okay.
So
that's still a lot. Yeah.
Right. If I had any more than that, it'd probably be overwhelming.
Yeah.
I almost need a second one of me to be able to not go crazy and run around everywhere all day.
Yeah. And I think that's important, right? I mean, now you're taking over the business.
Yep.
Okay. Was that, are you going to hire someone to replace you, or what's the next step?
I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, I have a younger brother that is more than qualified. He's done the same thing that I've done. The only problem is he's in the Air Force right now, and he's stuck in California. So I'm hoping at some point I can pull on his leg and get him to come back and help me out. But when you have a wife and kids and you live in a different state, it's a little bit difficult to do that.
Yeah, right. And then plus they got to want it.
Right.
They got to want to be able to do it. My dad wanted me to hand me down his business, and I was like, absolutely, I don't want it. I don't want to build boxes by the ocean.
Right.
So for me, I like to look like trends in the industry. So are you seeing anything that customers are wanting a little bit more? Outdoor living, heaters, like what are they wanting now?
Yeah, pretty much a combination of all that. I mean, I see a lot of pools right now. The only problem with pools is you got to find the right contractor to do it, because I can't tell you how many jobs that I've gone to from other contractors where they said, this guy screwed this up and he overcharged me, and like, what do you think about this? And I have to give insight on stuff that other people, charge somebody $1 million for, and they're like, I can't believe I paid this much for it, and nothing looks right here, and it just got screwed up.
Adam, I'm doing it right now. I've become a pool contractor because my guy just wasn't coming back. He subbed out everything, wasn't coming back, wasn't showing up, and then when he made mistakes, he wasn't there man enough to be like, oh, I made a mistake. And so for me, it was like, I started building pools. So have you thought about like progressing, or you just want to stay where you're at?
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I actually did a pool class today. So I've been thinking about it. So it's just more of picking people's brains to see how the whole process works and learn about it, and the odds and ends with, starting that up.
Have you done concrete?
I mean, we do more pavers usually.
Pavers. Stone, caps, veneer.
Yeah.
Dude, you can do it. I'm telling you, the biggest thing is just the shell, right? Someone get the shell. The engineering is one part, but it is not that complicated, I can tell you, because I took it over and I was like, I don't know what goes on in this.
Right.
But it's not that complicated to do it. So I'm just kind of giving you some advice. Try it, and I would find a pool contractor and, see the process a couple times.
Yeah.
But
I'd even like to try to do my own first to see, what I did wrong and what I could learn from, because I don't want to start one and completely screw it up and then have terrible reviews based on me like trying to do a learning curve of something I'm just now starting to do. So
smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want, you can try one in my backyard. Yeah, I'd be more than willing.
I don't know
Kansas City.
If you do that yet, but,
yeah. Maybe you do yours and then you can do mine.
That
the second would be fantastic. All right, just a couple more. What is, I guess, what is the best thing that's happened to you? What's your success story
for this year, or just in general
in your whole career? Yep, something that you're like, gosh, that was just awesome.
Does it have to do with my job that I'm with now, or can it be a other related job?
Well, some in the landscaping industry, in the green industry. Yeah.
I would just say having a really good job that benefited from other really big jobs. So, we did a lot of work this summer and the past summer, and we get getting bigger and bigger every year, just because they know that we're a family-owned business, and they know that we're going to get it done right, and we're going to get it done in a timely manner, and we're not going to, have them say, hey, we're going to have to charge you $10,000 more because of this. I don't like to do that to people.
Honest up front. Right.
So we're generating a lot more new business just because of the fact that we're honest with people. We work hard. We try to make a good product for people, and that's what people like. So that's what it keeps the business growing more and more.
A person that makes few mistakes makes little progress. So what's your biggest mistake? I can tell you mine. I've made many of them. Yeah.
Biggest mistake
that you've learned from it. What did you learn from it? Because this is for guys out there that are like, we don't want to admit it as contractors that we made mistakes.
I don't know if it would necessarily be my mistake, but I've recently had some bad reviews on things like someone complaining to a homeowner we're working for about us putting things on their property line, and which wasn't even. They acted like I was the one that they were talking to, and they said that I completely ignored everything they said, and they said that's not a company you should trust because they went over my property, or they walked over into my property line. I mean, some of that it's just
I dealt with that. Like you're cutting stone,
right?
I cannot control the dust, right?
Exactly.
I try. This lady wrote me. She goes, I'm going to write you a review. They put dust on my house or whatever. I'm like, I'll power wash it, like whatever you need to do.
I get that.
Some people you're never going to make happy, right? And it's just, but that's something that people should know out there is that we're not only dealing with our employees, we're not only dealing with the actual fabrication, we're also dealing with the outside elements of neighbors.
Yeah,
right?
We may own our own business, but we have hundreds of other bosses.
Yeah, exactly.
That we have to listen to.
Yeah, and so maybe for that client that's out there that hires us, it's like, you gotta be attention to them. We have so much that we need to take care of, right? So just take it easy on us. One last question for you, then we're done. So someone out there that's getting ready to start, you were 16 when you started, you said?
Yeah, more or less.
So what advice would you give to a young kid out there, 15 or 16, that wants to get into your position, own a company?
I would say make sure you be presentable. Make sure you look good showing up to the job when you're in front of the customer. Talk well. Don't, be using slang words, and, be appropriate with them. And if there's anything wrong, don't be belligerent with the customer. Be very understanding. Tell them that you can fix it, and just present a good image.
Yeah, don't go to a 4 o'clock estimate after like a full day's work.
Right.
Sweaty and just it's a first impression.
Yep.
Right, and that's everything. They're going to know how it's going to roll from then on. Right. Awesome, man. Great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Confessions of the Craft. Ensure you never miss an episode by subscribing to the podcast, so you can be the first to hear new episodes and discover previous ones. Follow SiteOne on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn for the latest trends and industry updates.